Hey everyone, it's Tony George. It's Monday Night Football. It's the Chargers at the Jets. We're going to talk about that, ways to bet that game, and a player prop as well. A couple of things. If you want to hear kind of a high profile name handicapper tell the truth about an ugly weekend, stay tuned. I'll tell you. Also, it should be noted that college basketball tips today. We have a play out. Tim Fines is my small conference guru. 75% of my plays are going to come out of small conferences this year. If you want a big time free pick, go over to Twitter. Tim's futures play of the season is given to you free on Twitter today at TGeorgeSports. And by the way, follow me. I'm going to give away a lot of NBA and a lot of college basketball games for free on Twitter and not on YouTube. I'll put out plays on YouTube every day, but there's added ones there, especially later in the day and halftime lines and all kinds of different things. Follow me on Twitter at TGeorgeSports. Okay? Let's get to this game tonight. Now, I've listened to a lot of podcasts, a lot of shows, VSiN, all kinds of these other things. And I agree with Michael Lombardi, who was on there this morning on Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard, which is one of the best shows on there. Matt Yeoman's show's awesome too. They're all good. But he stated something that was ringing around in my mind about this game tonight. And that was that nobody has even mentioned the Chargers laying 3.5. The entire universe loves the Jets at home. Why not? Primetime dogs haven't done that well this year, but overall, over the last 5 years, they're about a 60% proposition. Also, you have the better defense at home getting points because the Chargers' defense is deplorable. Especially their pass defense is the worst in the league. Unfortunately for the Jets, they have Zach Wilson at quarterback. Yeah, they have one of the best receivers in the NFL. Also last name, Garrett Wilson. And that's your prop pick tonight. Garrett Wilson is averaging 67 yards a game. His prop is 65 yards tonight, 65.5 total. Minus around 115, 120. That's the best bet in this game. Besides the other prop bet that I have up on a combo card with an NBA play. We'll talk about that in a minute. But, that being said, that's the best bet in this game. The only other bet I would even be considering in this game is what we do on these Thursday and Monday games, and we've been hitting them at a high rate, is the same game, 2-team 6-point teaser with the side and total. I would tease the Jets up to plus 9.5. I wouldn't take the 3.5. It's probably going to go down to 3 by kickoff. The fact that it hasn't moved with all this action on the Jets on the hook, and it hasn't moved off 3.5 yet, tells you all you need to know. Books are going to be begging for the Chargers to win this game. The biggest liability for the Chargers, as I've stated, week in and week out, here on these videos, on the Gridiron Six-Pack Show, which, by the way, went 5-1, off back-to-back 4 and 2 weeks with Griff Murphy. Are you tuning in? But the biggest liability for the Chargers is their head coach Staley. He's a buffoon. You can't bet money on the guy, the team, because he makes point spread result based decisions that affect the outcome of their games, especially from a point spread perspective. Just insane. The better coach, the better defense at home, getting points, I see why it's attractive. But, same game teaser. Tease them up to plus 9.5. Get them through 6, get them through 7. Should be a tight game. I think that brings points into play, especially with a low total at 39.5, which I can see. but I would take the total and tease it up to 45.5 and take the under, along with the Jets being at plus 9.5. Best bet, however, is that prop bet on receiver Wilson going over for the Jets tonight. That being said, you know, sometimes it stinks. You just want to blend in with the majority and just smooth over a bad weekend. I had one win this entire weekend, and both my top picks lost in football. I had a devastatingly bad weekend. I personally lost over 5 times. It happens. No one's more upset about it than yours truly. But we tell it like it is. Didn't make a difference that we're off an unbeaten week in college football. We were up over $2,000 for a $100 player last week. And our top picks have been cashing 3 in a row in college football. We had Nebraska. Their offense couldn't get a lap dance at the Spearmint Rhino with a fistful of hundreds. They went down faster than a fat kid on a seesaw. They were terrible. Horrible. Bad call. Nebraska laying points on the road against a bad team that was juggling quarterbacks with an interim head coach. Nebraska going for their first bowl game in I don't know how many years, you know. And yesterday, the Seattle Seahawks plus 5.5. How'd that work out for me? The worst game they played all year. Now, bad call. Yes, and I've said the Ravens look like the best team in the AFC. We can address all that in the NFL opening line report tomorrow. However, you know, I've been here 7 years. You average 25 football weeks a year. About 175 cards. This weekend was the worst weekend I've ever had since I've been in Doc Sports. They're going to happen. They happened to everybody. They happened. I'm transparent. I realize the errors of my ways in terms of looking at these going, where the hell did I go wrong? How could I be that? How could I suck that bad? You have to do that. Then you have to pick yourself up by your bootstraps with optimism and attack this week like it didn't happen. Just like you attack a week that if you went 7 or 8-0 and hit everything. That's water under the bridge. You got to put it behind you. Doesn't make a bit of frickin' difference. It's 0-0 headed in when the Thursday card comes out. And that's the way we're looking at it. Okay, there you go. You got full admission from a handicapper that gets thousands of views a day. Tell you like it is. I never pull any punches. Here's the good news. NASCAR, top pick caches. Another winning year in NASCAR. That's 5 in a row. Almost $18,000 in profits. $5,600 plus to the good for a $100 player since June 4th. 16 out of 21 cards since then have cashed. 8-3 on top picks. Don't bet NASCAR. You should have. We won money again. College basketball starts today. I'm going to have a best bet, 3 or 4 unit best bet from Tim Fines, my small conference guru, up today. We're ready. Be low volume. And tomorrow, Tim will join me to go over all his favorites, especially future stuff, with the small conferences he covers on a podcast right here on this channel, side by side. Be sure and tune in and get informed. Be about a half-hour show. So that's going on. We have a prop card tonight. 1 NBA play, 1 NFL play. NBA props on the year, 4-1. Appreciate you tuning in. Been a long weekend, guys. Been a long, tumultuous weekend. Everybody has their day in the barrel. Boy, it was mine for the last 2 days. Gonna make up for that real quick.